Hello, this is Vitalik, and this is GnuCash tutorial part 5. Transactions reconciliation and automatic categorization of your transactions from the statement. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Here's where we left off. The GnuCash book of a couple, Jack and Jill, that have a joint account, the checking account right here. And where we left off in the previous tutorial is we entered all the transactions that popped on the statement using the import. Now, in between all those tutorials, Jack wanted to be a nice guy and entered the transaction manually. And this is this transaction. He basically added some notes, categorized it, and added the right amount. This transaction is very important because you can see that majority of the transactions here are marked as C, which means cleared. And the new transaction that he entered is marked as U. So what's the difference? So in that column you can see 3 letters. It's either N, C, or Y. N is for new or for not reconciled. C is for cleared, and Y for reconciled. Or, yes, reconciled. So what's the real difference between those 3 letters? See, when you spend the money, or do a transfer, or make an income, the money doesn't leave your account immediately. They will be in the section of the posted account, and then they will move to the cleared transactions, and only then they will be written off your balance. And basically GnuCash is trying to help you to reflect the reality. When you enter a transaction manually, it means that you recorded something, but bank still doesn't know that that money is going to leave the account. The amount may change, something else may change, and the transaction will be eventually posted. So the date when you record the transaction may be different from the date when it's going to be posted. Majority of the cases it's going to be a same day. Sometimes it may take up to 5 days. So if you want to have a more clear picture, I'd recommend recording transactions manually. Or if you're just lazy like me, I don't care too much about the current balance, about the current running balance. I care about the cleared balance. And in reality, it means I just import transactions from the CSV statement rather than just adding them manually. When you're ready to download your statement, go ahead and import transactions again. Here, click Next, select your statement. Here, to avoid setting up the things from scratch again, just select whatever you saved last time. Click Next. Next. And this is something new that you haven't seen before. For the transactions that you see here in this section that have this drop down, GnuCash is basically saying to you, hey, I've seen these transactions before. Just double check that they are matching. So the amount is matching, the date is matching, and they look like the same transaction to you. And if everything okay, I'll just go ahead and reconcile it. Now, if you need to correct it, just double click as usual. Now, there is a section of the transactions that GnuCash doesn't know about, or maybe knows something or guesses something. So, for example, this transaction is a new transaction that was not entered to the book before, and GnuCash has automatically categorized this as an income. You can see it right here in the last column. So, what about this red transaction? Remember, this is something that Jack entered manually, and GnuCash is basically confused about it. It can find the duplicate, and if you click this checkbox, which is against the clear column, you can see that GnuCash is able to find a potential duplicate. You can see that the amount is not matching, the post date is matching, and obviously the description is not matching because it was a manual enter. And you can recognize this is the same transaction. This one is automatic from the statement, and that one that is in the book was manual. So you basically have three options to do things about the new transactions. Either you can enter new, which doesn't make sense in our case, it's the same transaction. You can do update and clear, and then update and clear will simply wipe out the manual description and replace it with the description from the statement. And obviously you can just clear that transaction. So in our case, I would prefer to update and clear. Now let's move on. The next transaction is, this is the food thing. This transaction is something that Jill bought from the cosmetic store, and GnuCash automatically found that this is Jill expense. Jack loves thrift stores, and GnuCash already knows that and automatically categorized the transactions for him. So this yellow transaction is something new to us, and let's figure this out. It is marked to be added. There is no duplicate in our book yet, and this is absolutely legit. Jack and Jill went to the amusement park and spent some money. Let's just categorize it correctly. Oh, poor Jack and Jill, they don't have anything for fun. Let's just create a new expense for them. And let's call it fun. Okay, that was simple. Now this transaction is absolutely correct and will be posted against the correct spending category. The only thing that stands out is this pale store expense and this Brewmaster coffee and this Wendon line. They look like a food and household rather than John, so sometimes GnuCash missing it. Let's recategorize them. Okay, now everything looks good. We can just hit apply, close, and you can see that all the transactions are entered. To double check that everything is good, close the account, go back to imbalance USD, and then double check that there is nothing here. If you missed some transaction or GnuCash was confused about something, it will post transactions here. Okay, back to our topic of reconciliation. Usually I reconcile my account once per month when the final statement is ready. Now, this is not a final statement, but you can still reconcile your account, since it has the running balance. Let's try to do this. To reconcile your account, go to your GnuCash book, open the account you want to reconcile, click the Reconcile button, and pick up a couple numbers from your statement. The first thing is posted date. So the last transaction that I have is 703, and the running balance I have here is 726.44. One trick here is sometimes GnuCash will not pick up the right number for you. And what I usually do, I just delete the number from here and manually enter the number from the statement. It helps me to understand if I missed something, and it's more reliable than just relying on the GnuCash. When ready, click OK. And this is a reconciliation screen. As you may notice, there is a small number called difference, and if it's not 0, it means something is wrong, either with the number you entered or with the transactions you entered. Maybe there is some transaction that you incorrectly posted on this account, and you'll need to go through and understand what's wrong. Maybe to find out what is the transaction that adds up $142. You can probably see that opening transaction is missing, so if you hit here, the difference will be 0. Sometimes it's more more complicated than this. Maybe a couple transactions are missing, or one transaction is missing and another one is extra. So pay close attention to what you add to your book. But when ready, just hit finish. And you may notice that everything in this account, every transaction has the Y letter against the R column. And what it means is that it's a flag for you that you better not touch that transaction. So the rule of thumb I developed for myself is, if the transaction is reconciled, I would not touch the withdrawal or deposit amount. I would not touch the post date. It's perfectly okay to change the description though. Also, it is absolutely okay to change the expense category or the transfer account. And that's, my friends, all for today. Stay tuned.